2024 Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Yash Technologies.
Welcome, cricket fans of America. This is your game, the 2024 Minor League Cricket Championships presented by Yash Technologies. I'm Joe Hickey coming to you live from the Santa Clara Cricket Club, where we've got round 2 of the Western Division's preeminent rivalry, the Bay Area Derby between the Silicon Valley Strikers and the East Bay Blazers. The men in two-tone blue, the inaugural season champions of MILC in 2021 and a playoff qualifier every year so far, return a bit of a different squad from 2023 when they made the Super 8s but advanced no further after winning a direct knockout on this field against the Grizzlies. Netravalkar, Surrey, Graham, and Jayasuriya are the only returners that saw game action in the regular season, but between international, domestic wildcard, and draft additions, they have reloaded, and how. New acquisitions Anthony Bramble and Kamran Hotak starred at the top of the lineup yesterday, and Ishwarjit Sohi, who joined the team for the Super 8s last year, took home player of the match honors in the Strikers' first win over Golden State Grizzlies by 61 runs to go 1-1 on the season. The men in gold, by contrast, bring back most of the major contributors to their division title winning team in 2023. Only Rusty Theron, David White, and Angelo Pereira have departed, but two familiar faces to Bay Area cricket fans have returned from the heart of Texas to replace them. In 2021, Blazers star Sujith Gowda and former Strikers youth player Rushil Ugarkar. They bolster a squad that is targeting their first MILC title, and step one in that process will be to lock down things in the West, which is precisely their aim as they look to complete the sweep over their local rivals. We'll take a look at the team sheets when we get the opportunity. First, the Silicon Valley Strikers, who won the toss and have elected to bat first. They make one change to yesterday's victorious squad, and that is inserting Kush Balala in place of Nitin Kumar Kanduri. Otherwise, it is as you were: Sohi, Bramble, Kamran, Saurabh Netravalkar, Pranay Suri, Shivam Mishra, Faisal Khan, Shekhan Jayasuriya, the captain, Adit Gorawara, and Gary Graham. And they will repeat again with Hotak and Bramble at the top of the lineup as we get ready for the anthem here at the field. Briefly give you what's going on with the Blazers. They make 2 alterations to a squad that beat the Strikers 8 days ago with 7 wickets in hand and 10 balls left. Those 2 changes are to put in Karmai Larue and Usman Ghani, the newcomer from Afghanistan, in place of Nawaz Khan and Arnav Iyer. Otherwise, for them, it will be Sujith Gowda, Sanjay Krishnamurthy, Suleiman Arabzai, Vikash Mohan, Aditya Ganesh, Abhishek Paradkar, Saideep Ganesh, Christopher Ramsaran, and Rushil Ugarkar. We're going to pause here in the commentary as the members of the Blazers Cricket Academy students here on Blazers Family Festival Day in Santa Clara join our teams on the field for the national anthem ceremony. After a small delay to sort out some audio issues here on the on-field presentation, we do finally have the anthem completed. The players getting ready to take their positions on the field, and again, it will be the Silicon Valley Strikers batting first. They won the toss and made that choice. It will be the third consecutive game to start the season in which they have been the team to bat first, but the first time they've gotten to make that choice for themselves. They were put in by both the Golden State Grizzlies and the East Bay Blazers, who won the toss and elected to bowl in their first two matches. We'll take a look here at the team sheets, and I believe first again we have the Silicon Valley Strikers. As captain of the East Bay Blazers, Sanjay Krishnamurthy looks like he has chosen himself to bowl first. We'll wait on those team sheets for the time being. And then just as it was yesterday, it will be Kamran Hotak and Anthony Bramble to open the batting. That went exceedingly well yesterday for the Strikers in their matchup with the Grizzlies down at the Tadika Foundation field in Morgan Hill. Kamran 44 off 40 deliveries. Took a few of the young Grizzlies bowlers deep, 4 4s and a 6. Anthony Bramble a little more short-lived, but did contribute 21 runs and a couple of very, very hard hit balls towards the rope. Didn't get one over on the fly, but did hit 3 of them to the boundary. It appears it'll be Bramble to face the first delivery of this match. Of course, power play conditions to start off, and just permitted to have 2 men outside the circle marked by the yellow cones here at the Santa Clara Cricket Club. And with Bramble in, they have chosen to place those men at deep square leg and a deep, wideish long on. Not quite sure what the issue is here, but it appears now we are ready for action. Sundaram Subramanian, joined by Suyog Patil as a square leg umpire, the men in orange. And the first delivery from Krishnamurthy is on the dot. And we are underway here in Santa Clara. Blazers, Strikers. If you're a cricket fan in California, this is where you want to be. The young Sanjay, lefty spinner, targeting off stump with that one. It'll sneak by the man closest to the play, but Carmine LaRue in position. A correction, number 33 there is Rashilo Garkar. 0-3, never mind. Third time's a charm on 0-3, Sujit Gowda. Bringing that line a little bit closer to middle stump. And again, getting the length just right. Sanjay Krishnamurthy off of a stellar performance in Major League Cricket with the San Francisco Unicorns. He works quick to get us started. Bramble hits that one off the edge again. The men in the circle attentive to it. Last season, Bramble was known to walk across those stumps pretty regularly. So far, keeping his feet in position. That was a little more the case against spinners for him. A little bit of width on offer, but he's not able to get to it. Spikes that into the turf, and lucky it didn't find its way toward the timber. Unleashes the hands, hits that one in the air, and it just barely will not carry to the man at long on. Abhishek Paradkar was at full stretch, but picks up the short hop. First run recorded here of the encounter, and it's on the final delivery of the first over. Bramble underway. Silicon Valley 1 for no loss.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
The insertion of Kush Palala there in the 11th spot in place of Nitin Kumar Kanduri. Hotak and Bramble up top, and the rest of that lineup is more or less about the order you might expect to see them in. Suri might receive a bit of a promotion over the course of this. As for the East Bay Blazers, we'll take a look at them perhaps after this over because Carmine LaRue is ready to roll from the Homestead Avenue end. This is a little fascinating. Didn't Sanjay just bowl from this end? Okay, so we will be going from just one end of the ground here today. Apparently, the bright white of the schoolhouse end not conducive to batting against a white ball. So we will be playing this entire match with the bowling coming from the Homestead Avenue end. That's one less thing for me to keep track of, it would appear. In addition, a bit of a issue with the run-up on that side as well. So safety both for the bowlers, so nobody turns an ankle, and for the batters, so, well, they could see the ball coming. So either way, it will be Carmine LaRue bowling over number 2, and Anthony Bramble picks up a run here. So that will lead to a bit of a strange-looking thing to a cricket fan, which is that at the end of each over, the batters are going to have to swap ends, since the bowler can't. Second delivery from LaRue. He's extracting a little bit of movement in the air there. We see a touch of outswing. Single taken, and Kamran Hotak is underway. Hotak, the 19-year-old Afghani, captain of the under-19 team over there, and one of 2 members of the Hotak family on this squad. Carmine working quickly, rumbling in swing in this case to the right-hander Anthony Bramble. Sneaks it by the bat for a dot. Interestingly, with the lefty pacer now on, a change in the field to Bramble. Instead of having the man at long on, they've swapped all the way to the opposite side of the field, and it's a deep third man to go with the deep square leg. Under edge of the bat, and that plays back to fine leg. LaRue here in his first game of this 2024 season. Last year took 11 wickets at 10.4 per. Boasted the second best average, second best strike rate, and 4th best economy in this Western Division. First 2 of those ranking top 20 in MILC overall. Hotak looking for a little invention. He doesn't get any contact with that ball, but it will be a bye run here as it sneaks by the gloves of the keeper. Aditya Ganesh, the man with the gloves, and a slip in place. So we see the invention, the attempt at a reverse paddle to go back over the head of Aditya Ganesh. No dice. Swinging into the pads for the final delivery of the over from LaRue. 3 runs off the bat and a bye from it. Silicon Valley 5 for no loss.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Actually matter here, but at any rate, Sanjay, of course, the captain, back in the squad. We mentioned before 2 differences to the lineup. You see the 2024 debutant Carmine LaRue, who just bowled the second over of the match, and then Usman Ghani there is brand new to minor league cricket, an Afghan international, who we'll see with bat in hand later on. Does bowl a little bit of off spin, I believe, as well, and could be useful in that role. Otherwise, it is as you were. The other 9 players all suited up in the gold 8 days ago in the victory over Silicon Valley. That one with some resources still in the kitty as Kamran Hotak works this one wide of the man in the inner circle. Single to the outfield for a man building on 44 runs yesterday to get this weekend underway. That'll bring Bramble back on strike, who last season suited up for the Golden State Grizzlies. Great length from Sanjay there. Certainly had Bramble fending at that to try to keep it off his pads or the stumps. Bramble took home West Division MVP honors last year, second leading scorer in minor league cricket with 404 runs. A little bit of outturn on that delivery. Not a ton, but almost the exact right amount. What you're looking for, of course, if you're a lefty spinner here, is you'd like that to dance just far away enough to pick up the edge and nestle into Aditya's gloves. Nothing extravagant. This time gets the length a little on the full side, and Bramble sweeps that back behind fine leg. Long run, but chased down by Rushil Ugarkar over there. And it will be just a single from the fourth delivery of the over. A nice sight for a Bay Area cricket fan to see Sanjay Krishnamurthy with ball in hand again. Of course, in Major League, was exclusively used as a batter. No complaints, it went great. Hotak looking for a big rip, trying to lift it over the top of the drawn-in man at mid-wicket. Right now, deep protection is at a wide-ish long on and square leg. Hotak wanted to access that gap, but to no avail. Tries again, and this time trying to sweep it back behind a drawn-in third man. Not able to square up Sanjay, and it goes down as a pair of dots, albeit not without a little bit of drama and a little bit of yelling. 2 off 5 for him so far. Bramble 4 off 13. Silicon Valley 7 for no loss through 3. It will be one of the 2 prodigal sons on this East Bay team. Players back in the Bay Area after a interstitial period down in the heart of Texas. It's Rushil Ugarkar to bowl the first delivery of the 4th over. He is appealing hard for leg before, but nothing given. Did appear from our angle that it might have been going down leg. When Ugarkar was last in the Bay Area, of course, the Strikers would have seen him as one of their own youth players. Of course, when they would have last seen him, period, he was busy setting the Super 8s on fire with the Dallas Mustangs. Just does evade the outside of the bat, giving Anthony Bramble fits. So far, he's tempted him with that 4th stump line. That after rattling the pads on the delivery before. Rushil took 17 wickets last year, 10 of them in the 3 matches of the Super 8s. Bramble with a shot. That one is guided over the top of a drawn-in onside field. First boundary of today's encounter. Bramble had 3 of them yesterday. My apologies, I did not quite see the eventual landing spot right. That one went all the way for 6. So a maximum to get started, and for Bramble, first one of the weekend after 3 4s yesterday. At work to the offside, enough room there for the 2 of them to scamper a single. Run to backward point. Good battle shaping up here. Ugarkar frustrating Bramble with the first 2 deliveries and then giving up the boundary and right back to it. Bramble able to get off strike and let Kameron Hotak deal with this guy. 6.18 economy for Paradkar in his debut in Major League Cricket over the course of 6 overs in 2 innings with MI New York. One of the players newly drafted into MLC this season. Also among them, the man with the gloves that he's hurling this toward, Aditya Ganesh with LA Knight Riders. That may have taken a touch. It did indeed. And that is the first wicket down. Kamran Hotak edges it back to the gloves of Aditya Ganesh. Rushil Paradkar has struck again. Rushil responsible for taking 3 wickets in the opening day match for 22 runs. An absolutely fantastic debut for him for 2024, and he's right back at it here. As we said, the early troubling of Bramble, the release shot with the 6 for the Guyanese cricketer. Once he puts Kamran on strike, able to get this edge. Kamran dancing down the track, gets that inside edge, and Aditya Ganesh, an expert with the gloves. Dindigul Dragons player in recent seasons over in Tamil Nadu. He does excellent work there to claim wicket number 1. 14 for 1 as Hotak back to the shed. A much shorter day than he had at the crease yesterday against Golden State. The man striding here, the captain of the Silicon Valley Strikers, will be hoping for a day as similar to yesterday as possible. Might like to go one better. Shehan yesterday with a 49 off 29. Racked up that quick total courtesy of 3 4s and 4 maximums. That third 4, though, was the last ball that he did strike cleanly, as it got him to 49. On the very next delivery, as he attempted to step across his stumps and sweep to backward square, Vatsal Vagela got him to chop onto his own stumps, just a run shy of a 10th MILC century, a half century rather. He'll take a run off the first delivery he faces, and it's the last one of this over. A little bit of everything for you cricket fans. A 6 from Anthony Bramble, a wicket for Rushil Paradkar, end of the day for Kamran Hotak. Through 4, Silicon Valley 15 for 1. Carmine LaRue will take the ball for the 5th over in what would ordinarily be called a change of ends, but there's no such thing today. Steaming into the new man, Shehan Jayasuriya. That one worked straight back past Carmine. Diving claim by Paradkar to keep it on the infield and limit them to just a single. Bramble last year a 143 strike rate and a 36.7 average. 450s tied him for the most of those in minor league cricket. Carmine appears to be jogging in here as Bramble looks to make sure he's got his positioning right. Can see that smile from here as he looked up at Carmine and said, "Please don't." Busy tending my garden here. Digs that one out as LaRue looking for the Yorker length. No run there as it balloons on a couple of hops to Paradkar inside the circle. Silicon Valley, a bit of a new look for them this season. They've traded in the deep navy blue for more of a royal to go along with their sky blue, accentuating the yellow a little bit and no longer particularly stripy, a little more appropriately lightning bolty. Bramble has launched this one. No doubt about whether that's a 4 or a 6, as it's just off to our side here from our broadcast position. And a good 15 to 20 yards past the yellow boundary rope. Giddy up, second boundary, second maximum for Anthony Bramble. And a no-doubter as he picks up Carmine LaRue over long on. Woo! Look at that. You don't need any commentary or description of technique on that one. Just admire. LaRue looking to cramp him a little bit for space, gets it up into his armpit. Bramble fends it off to backward square, and he'll take a single. And of course, the challenge here when you're starting to get away a little bit with some big shots is trying not to go boom, boom, gone. It's not an uncommon refrain. You get a little rush of blood to the head. You love the feeling of leather on the willow, and then you do something a little silly. Jayasuriya puts the bat down, runs it just in front of point, and will take a single. Bramble, a bit of a quiet day in his first meeting with the Blazers this season. Just 9 off 11 with one big 6. Or he was LBW'd by Ugarkar. Puts out the bat, runs it off. Attempted a direct hit. Looked like Jayasuriya would have been home either way, and that'll make it a double-digit over. 10 runs from Carmine LaRue's second through 5. Silicon Valley 25 for 1.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Rishil Ugarkar will continue on the even-numbered overs, and that first delivery buzzes the bails as Bramble swings through it. Very nearly taking off the top of leg stump. Ugarkar with one wicket already claimed. Got a feathered edge from Kamran Hotak to go through to Aditya Ganesh, looking for the same off Bramble. Chance over at the wicket keeper's end. A direct hit might have had Jayasuriya in a lot of trouble as one captain tried to dismiss the other. Krishnamurthy throwing it maybe 1.5 stumps from that very square position. But they get home nonetheless. Jayasuriya back on strike, looking to get underway. For Shahan, it was a pretty slow start to the affair yesterday. I recall correctly, at one point was sitting on 6 from 11. And then very rapidly started to accumulate runs in the middle overs against Golden State. Fending at that one, does not get a touch. Lucky that as it nestles into Ganesh's gloves. Ugarkar getting that one to climb a little bit on Shahan. Final over of the power play with Jayasuriya at the bat. Your deep protection is at backwards square and at third man. Cuts that to the offside, and again, a chance at a direct hit. A throw coming from the man just in front of point. I believe Gowda, correction. it would have been Usman Ghani targeting the stumps. Couple of near misses here, a pair of singles and a pair of dot deliveries. Bramble back up, long on, pushed back to the rope. Again, along with either square leg or backward square, a little hard to read the exact angle from this position. This one pushed to a vacant area at mid-on, with Carmine LaRue back at the rope. That'll be a single. Final delivery of the power play coming up here. That one stays down on Jayasuriya. It'll be a dot delivery to finish, just 3 from the 6th over. So 8 days ago when they took on the East Bay Blazers, it was a wicket maiden for Paradkar in the final over, and they finished at 30 for 2. Yesterday, a much more productive 51 for 1 in the power play. Today, 28 for 1 as East Bay Blazers have kept it tight. We'll take a look here at the minor league cricket standings in the Western Division while we await the start of the next over. And East Bay Blazers, you see there at the top, the net run rate certainly assisted by a victory with a lot of resources left in the kitty last time around. In that matchup 8 days ago, the Blazers won with 16 balls remaining and 7 wickets in hand. Strikers have gotten their first victory and overturned what was, of course, a negative 1.15 to a positive 1.04 by defeating Golden State by 61 runs yesterday. Grizzlies at the moment 0-1 with a bit of a rough-looking NRR, but all sorts of time to repair that. And you see there the lashings, the Surf Riders and the Thunderbolts with no points, no games played as of yet. They will be getting their season underway on Friday next week, the beginning of a 4-day weekend at Woodley Park that will feature 12 matches involving every team from this Western Division. It's the lefty wrist spinner Christopher Ramsaran into the attack for this first over, and that is fired to a very fine long off. Excellent work by Sujith Gowda to make the ground and keep that from reaching the rope. And it will just be a single off that first delivery. That ball was traveling on its way here, but Sujith Gowda able to flag it down. Jayasuriya back on strike. Very gently pokes that one to the man at short, fine leg. Of course, now with the fielding restrictions released, Blazers are permitted 5 outside the boundary, and with the likes of Jayasuriya and Bramble on strike, you're going to make use of that. As much deep protection as you can get. With Bramble up, the protection is by and large in front of him. And he's going to target that and says, I don't care where you put the fielders, I'm going to hit that one and target Homestead Avenue. If it weren't for the trees, that thing was going to clear the row of parked cars on our side of this avenue. My word. Anthony Bramble feeling himself a little bit. Last season, not a dramatic spin pace split, but he did strike at 155 against spinners of all varieties. That one is hammered just past the hand of Christopher Ramsaran, but doesn't have quite enough timing. Just a single here as Gowda puts it back into the hands of the Trinidadian spinner. Ramsaran on this East Bay side last season, but did not see game action. Played 2022 with the New England Eagles, where he took 4 wickets in 15 overs. Bit of creativity from Shahan Jayasuriya, who sees Bramble having so much fun being a right-hander, decides to try it out himself. A little bit less effective as he looks for the sweep. Little flatter, and Jayasuriya frees the hands. Protection out there, though, at long off in the form of Carmine LaRue. That'll be all she wrote here for over number 7. So Silicon Valley looking to get a move on. They put up double digits for the second time in an over, scoring 10 off Ramsaran's first. 38 for 1.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes, creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
We'll get our first look at Abhishek Paradkar in this match. Bowling over number 8. We thank you for tuning in and spending your Saturday late morning, early afternoon with us here on the MLC Network. My name's Joe Hickey here on the comms, Vishal Tiku of Crick Live at the controls. That is a feathered edge and a diving attempt by Aditya Ganesh, and another catch by the man with the gloves. Shehan Jayasuriya, the second batter for Silicon Valley to be able to, or be unable to reprise a productive day yesterday. Kamaran went for 44, Shehan for 49. Today, they are both out for a combined 8. Paradkar strikes on his first delivery of the encounter. We see there the edge, and Ganesh having to dive just a little bit forward, along with getting quickly to his left. He's had to go one to each side today. Paradkar into the attack and immediately into the wickets. For Abhishek, his second of this MILC season. He went 1 for 21 in his 4 overs of work 8 days ago here, or rather in the South Bay, not specifically here, over at the Morgan Hill Outdoor Sports Complex. So that'll bring Shivam Mishra to the crease. Mishra was the high scorer on opening day for Silicon Valley with 33 off 22 at a brisk 150 strike rate. Yesterday, a bit shorter of a presence at the crease, did hit one monster 6, but that took care of all but 2 of his runs in 8 deliveries. He was actually run out by Varad Khane's throw and Rahul Jariwala's quick sweep of the bails on a ball that really did not deserve to be as dangerous as it turned out to be. But Mishra, a little lack of communication with his battery mate at the other end, Shehan Jayasuriya, and found himself back in the pavilion early. Today he'll be partnering Anthony Bramble instead. Bramble, so far with his most productive day of the season, the 29 off 27. He's been studious and careful when called for, and he has been an absolute brute on 3 occasions. 2 of those 6s, absolute no doubters. This, of course, a pairing that you could have seen last season in red jerseys for the Golden State Grizzlies. Both of these players late of the Grizzlies. Mishra had spent his entire MILC career up in the capital until this year. A chance down at the wicket keeper's end. This time, Saideep Ganesh targeting the stumps. Quick single run, and Shivam Mishra is underway. Shivam picked up in the draft by Silicon Valley. Anthony Bramble, by contrast, a wild card selection. In that draft, I would say, at least for teams that did not just simply select players they had not officially retained, Silicon Valley did among the better bits of work in that draft, picking up the likes of Mishra and Adit Gorawara, who is in the starting 11 yet again today. Wicket keeper from Hong Kong. Here comes Paradkar. That one comes in hard. Would have been too high for LBW if Bramble didn't get bat to it. Either way, it'll go down as a single here. He did, in fact, get a little of the willow on it. Silicon Valley so far, as we said, batting first for the third time this season. Somewhat remarkable considering they only did that 4 times all of last year in 13 matches played. They had their struggles trying to defend totals, went just 1 and 3 when batting first. That one worked to the backward 45 off the bat of Mishra as the right-left combination continues. Signal here is a leg by, so not off the bat. Bramble here after a season in which he was 2nd in 6s in minor league cricket and 9th in 4s. Put up a host of big totals for Golden State. Looking to do the same here today for his new club. That one just wide of the man in the inner circle. Long run in from the boundary. And they're going to look to take 2. The throw is to the wicketkeeper's end and not in time. Had a 73 on debut and also had a 59, 74, and a 45 in the final 3 matches of the season. At 45, the only bit of true intent in the eliminator against the strikers. That one is going to split the wicketkeeper and a pulled in third man. A long run and a nice sliding play to keep that from reaching the boundary rope. But it will be another 2 to finish off the over. 6 off Paradkar's first, but he does start by removing the captain, Shahan Jayasurya. Silicon Valley 45 for 2 through 8. Christopher Ramsaran will continue here in the odd-numbered overs, the 9th over coming up, with Silicon Valley going a little over 5.5 runs and over. It was in the second half of the innings that they accelerated yesterday as Shivam Mishra scampers back, does not want a replay of yesterday's dismissal, where he wandered just a little bit too far and was gunned down by Paradkar. Leans back and tries to free the hands, but taps that behind point. 2 dots to start here for Ramsaran after his first went for 10. Mishra this time does free the hands. Well struck, but right to the man at the boundary, Suleiman Arabzai. Told you before, we've got Vishal Tiku at the controls today for Crick Live. Ranjit, Aditya, and Abhinav working the cameras, showing you all the angles of Santa Clara Cricket Ground. Bit of width on offer, and that is going to be, well, accepted gleefully and deposited into the DJ tent. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if Anthony Bramble took a good look at the bouncy house, right? You know, that's got turrets. That's a bouncy castle. I wouldn't be shocked to see him take aim at that, but this time around, a bit of width on offer, and you might have expected that with that kind of width on offer, he would try to inside out it to the offside, but nope. Gets down on one knee and drags that over mid-wicket, maybe even cow corner. This time doesn't get all of it. It is popped up in the air, might land safely, and it will, but through the hands of the on-rushing man from mid-wicket. Usman Ghani unable to wrap the paws around it, and Bramble is spared. We've talked before about the boom, boom, gone tendency in this sport. You get a little excited after hitting a few deep to the boundary, and next thing you know, you take a ill-advised hack at a ball that just does not deserve it. For now, no harm done to Bramble. He's at 41 at the non-striker's end. Mishra does not get all of that and will head back to his crease. And a dot to finish. So dots on either side of the over, but 2 singles and a 6, 8 from Ramsaran second, 53 for the loss of 2 through 9.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Christopher Ramsaran so far 18 off of his first 2 overs of work. Man with some CPL experience under his belt with the St. Lucia Zooks. I liked it better when they were called that. 3 wickets in his 5 matches there in the CPL. He's given his skipper 2 here in the middle. It's going to be Abhishek Paradkar in for his second. Left arm over the wicket, squared him up, and height might have been a concern, but the finger raised from Sundaram Subramanian. And that is the end of the day for Bramble. He was pardoned just a few balls ago as he popped one up. Managed to land it just outside the grasp of Usman Ghani. This time around, squared up by Abhishek Paradkar, who's got 2 of the 3 wickets so far to fall. Bramble gone for 41. Very full length, and Bramble just not able to get the bat down quite in time. And I take it back. I don't think height is of any issue on this one. That was a very full delivery. Live, I think the recoil off the pad created a bit of an illusion, but that's going to mean an early entry into the encounter for Gary Graham. One of the stories last season for this team was the loss of a lot of their CPL late order boom boom. The likes of Raymond Reefer, Roshan Primus, who just had a starring role in a match with the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons a couple of days ago in the CPL, sort of left Gary Graham on his lonesome. He started getting into games a lot earlier than he would like. He was out before the death overs 5 times last year. That had happened 4 times in total in 2021 and 22. And he comes back in, or rather comes in here after a 13 not out yesterday, and will immediately face off with what has been his bugaboo the last couple of years. Lefty pace. In the last 2 seasons, 21 runs off 27 balls and 4 wickets lost against lefty pacers. Paradkar will like his chance to try to put him on the defensive, which, given Gary Graham's power, is where you want him. Gets the bat down in time. And oof, a throw from Abhishek Paradkar targeting the stumps. Looked like Graham was probably home. That ball whistles just wide of the outside stump. East Bay exactly where they want to be. They didn't get the cutting edge during the power play this time around, which was a hallmark of last season for them. They were the top wicket takers and boundary preventers in the division overall, and particularly effective inside the power play. This time, not quite the same cutting edge, but now they've got their 3 down, and they've got 2 new batters at the crease. Mishra, an under edge that will trickle to square leg. Another single here. East Bay, arguably the best team back in this minor league cricket tournament, as Sujith Gowda and Rashilu Garkar's old team, the Dallas Mustangs, have elected not to defend their 2024 title, I mean to say. Blazers faced off with the Mustangs in what was a de facto Pacific Conference Championship game last year. Again, run off the blade toward square leg. Point rather. With Gary Graham now up, he dances down the track and scampers back. In the Super 8s, East Bay and Dallas both took care of Lone Star Athletic and Silicon Valley Strikers, the 2 second-place teams in their respective divisions. And it was a matchup that, in all honesty, I'd been waiting to see for a solid year and a half at that point, after they had locked horns at the beginning of 2022. Freeing the hands and hitting this one in the air, but it looks like the park will hold it, drifting back and making the catch. I believe is Mangani at the boundary rope. This time, the hands are secure, and Gary Graham's stay at the crease is a short one, falling yet again to a lefty pacer. And Silicon Valley are 4 down. Paradkar 2 in the over. He's now got 3 for 8 in just 11 deliveries. A bit toe-ended there as Graham looked to break the shackles. Ghani certainly had to watch his feet as he was approaching that rope at a decent rate of knots. Squeezes the sphere. Stays inside the field of play, and that's all for Gary Graham. In at 6, it will be Pranay Suri. Pranay yesterday, 9 off 8, with a big 6 into the shrubbery outside of the Tadika Foundation ground. He was in a lot earlier against East Bay 8 days ago. Came in at 3 after the dismissal of Anthony Bramble. Had a hard time getting going, though. Just 4 off 11. Was eventually dismissed by Rashilu Garkar, who got him to lift one to the hands of Sanjay Krishnamurthy. Pranay last year, generally speaking, if he was scoring, it was by hitting the ball to the rope. 80 of his 108 runs scored came from either 4s or 6s. His non-boundary strike rate, just 34. Had a hard time finding those gaps in the field just to let them run between the wickets. Looks to square him up, and the finger is up! Abhishek Paradkar, a 3rd wicket in the over. And a golden duck for Pranay Suri, who is squared up LBW. What an over for Abhishek Paradkar. Fresh off that tour over in the Netherlands with USA Cricket, he is right into the action here. 1 wicket on opening day, and now 4 in just 2 overs. 5 for 5. If you were to send that to review, I think the only doubt might have been whether it pitched outside leg. But if you make that umpire's call, I think not much else to be said about it. Pranay Suri well and truly struck plumb. That would be the only concern. When he comes back into the attack for his next over, Abhishek is going to be on a hat trick, and for that matter, on a potential 5-fer. Halfway through this first innings, Silicon Valley now 55 for 5. And I think as we change over batter and bowler, we'll take a look at what is now going to be a much less happy bit of reading in terms of the bowling card, or batting card rather, for the Silicon Valley Strikers. That batting card started rough with Kamaran Hotak dismissed for just 2, caught behind by Aditya Ganesh off Ugarkar, and all the rest of it has been Abhishek doing damage. He got Shehan Jayasuriya in his first over of work, getting him to flick one behind to Aditya Ganesh, a phenomenal catch diving to his left. And then in that last over, manages to square up Bramble, then gets Graham to loft one to Usman Ghani, and then squares up Suri. Shiva Mishra, the one on strike for the first delivery here of over number 11. He works a single to the offside, and the new man at the crease is Adit Gorawara. Christopher Ramsaran, 19 runs conceded so far off his first 13 deliveries. He'll be aiming to tighten things up here a little bit. Gorawara shoots that one through a gap on the offside inside the circle for a single. Yeah, for Ramsaran, the issue so far has been the one shot each over. He's gone for 18, but 12 of those have come off of 1-6 in each over. Otherwise, all dots and ones. Looking to sweep this to the onside. Long run in the outfield. Thought about trying to take a second, but Suleiman Arabzai is there quick enough. They will head back and just let it be 3 singles. So far, this is very much what we've been seeing from Christopher. Question now is, can he avoid the big shot? That one is lifted in the air, and we were just saying it as that one heads into the East Bay Academy Pavilion. A lovely showing of cricket fans and Academy folks being targeted there, and we just said it a moment ago, there is the big shot, Adit Gorawara. Adit finished yesterday's match with his innings in yesterday's match with a flourish, a 4 and a 6 off the final 2 deliveries of the innings, accounting for 10 of his 15 runs. This one worked just in front of point. Airborne for a moment, a little uppish, but lands safely. Another single here and another over that looks, well, in keeping with what we've seen for the rest of the match so far from Christopher Ramsaran. Mishra not able to get anything on that. It'll be a dot to finish, but another 10-run over. Ramsaran 28 conceded off of his 3 so far. Silicon Valley 65 for the loss of 5. Today's Blazers Family Festival Day here at the Santa Clara Cricket Club. Folks are getting a fan jersey. We've got the Bounce Castle DJ and attendees from the Blazers Cricket Academy and their students, Bay Area Cricket Club from the NCCA, Santa Clara, Indus, Afghan Zwanan cricket clubs. Expecting upwards of 300 in attendance if the Evite is to be trusted to celebrate 1 year of Blazers Cricket Academy. Abhishek Paradkar rumbling in. He is on a hat trick after taking 2 on the last 2 deliveries of his last over. And that hat trick ball is navigated here by Adit Gorawara. Paradkar now 4 for just 9 runs. Has been absolutely phenomenal so far. That one stays down on Shiva Mishra. You would imagine the Blazers batters or Blazers players out here in the field as well, taking note of a couple of spots that seem to be playing some havoc. This a different pitch than the one that was used back on Monday for the championship of the Blazers Bay Area Open, so women's cricket weekend tournament over Labor Day. In those games, the pitch off to the left, which still has some markings on it, was by and large being used, and it was apparently a tricky beast. That one pushed to a vacant, very fine mid-on region. Gowda up to claim it. And just a single there for Abhishek Paradkar here. His first career minor league cricket fourfer. In fact, I went to check the stats to see if he had done that beforehand and saw the listing of best bowling figures of 8 runs and 4 wickets and thought to myself, oh, so he has done this before. And no, that's just it updating quickly enough. Those are live stats, and you're looking at the best MILC outing of Abhishek's career so far. That one pops up off the splice of the bat, but it's going to split the fielders and run very nearly to the rope. Chased down back there by Vikash Mohan. And it will be a pair. A very tentative start to this for the Silicon Valley Strikers against Krishnamurthy and LaRue. As they managed just 7 off the first 3, they did have 8, 10, and 10 as part of the next 3 overs and have generally been able to target Christopher Ramsaran to some extent. But Abhishek Paradkar has been a wrecking ball. Tapped right back to him on a hop. Paradkar knocks that down and looks to finish off another tidy over. He's yet to have one so far in this match in which he didn't take a wicket. But in just 2 matches, already halfway to his total wicket haul from 2023 of 10 at 19.7 per. Another one tapped straight back past the bowler. This one narrowly misses the stumps, and it'll be a single to finish off over number 12. 5 from it. Paradkar 4 for 13. Silicon Valley 70 for the loss of 5.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes, creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
The skipper's going to put his own hand up here for over number 13. So far, 2 overs bowled, just 3 runs conceded for Sanjay. He will face down Adit Gorawara, the man currently on strike. For the Strikers, this partnership of the utmost importance. That one hits the pads. A shake of the head from Sundaram Subramanian. Uninterested in granting Sanjay the prized digit. That one definitely down leg, popped up and gone. Gets the wicket himself there. Thoughts of a bump ball for just a moment, but Christopher Ramsaran, about as easy of a catch as you'll get. The shot thrown early by Adit Gorawara, and he toe ends it to mid-off. 6th wicket down, and we were just saying an important partnership because Silicon Valley are very much into the tail now to partner alongside Shivam Mishra. Ishwarjit Sohi, Faisal Khan, Sarab Netravalkar, and Kush Balala, all that remains. And we see there the shot thrown, picks up the outside edge, and balloons to the man in the inner circle. 70 for 6 Sanjay couldn't get it from Sundaram Subramanian, so he gets it from Ramsaran instead. And the new man walking in will be Faisal Khan. Faisal did bat in the opening match of the season. A 1 not out off 1. Faced that last ball of the encounter after a wicket fell. And in fact, on that ball, they tried to take a second, and Shiva Mishra was run out. He partners Mishra again. Here comes Sanjay, flattens out the delivery this time a little bit. Takes another dot. Krishnamurthy 1 for 3 off 15 deliveries so far. That one is worked off the hips. Back behind, fine leg. And correction, no contact made at all with that ball. It's going to go down as a wide, and they take an extra off of it as well, running between the wickets. So Sanjay will have to bowl that one again. Mishra back on strike, trying to get underway, and now knowing that fate of this innings resting largely on his shoulders. He drags this one to the onside. Suleiman Adabzai down to a knee to keep that in front of him. A single, and Faisal will come back on strike. Pops up a little bit off the splice, but nothing terribly dangerous for Faisal. One more to bowl here, as Krishnamurthy has conceded just 3 and picked up the valuable wicket of Adit Gorawara. He will concede at least 1 more, maybe 2. They're looking for that second. Throw is down to Aditya Ganesh's end, but late. Faisal back in, and they will take a pair. And in fact, I believe that's a signal for a short run, so they will just get the 1 off of that. Going to turn to Sunil really quickly here, our third umpire. Am I reading that signal correctly, sir? Okay. So it will just be the single from that after the signal for short run. Silicon Valley 74 for 6 through 13. Vikash Mohan into the attack. Off spinner from Port of Spain, Trinidad. Bowled just 1 over last year for 11 runs, but had a much bigger contribution with ball in hand in 2022. Nice leaping stop by Saidip Ganesh. Back behind point. Keeps that on the circle and limits them to just a single run. Shiva Mishra had to have thought for a moment that he had beaten those 2 fielders and split the gap. Vikash will come over the wicket to Faisal Khan. That one lifted in the air, heels on the rope for Carmine LaRue, and he will not quite be tall enough to haul that one in. A 6 off the bat of Faisal Khan, his first MILC boundary. For a moment, there was a little drama. Carmi had put his heels right back on that boundary rope. Make sure he wouldn't go over. Unfortunately for him, the ball did maybe about 8 feet in the air. Looking for 2 on this one. Throws down to Aditya Ganesh's end, and I don't know if that hit a rock or what on the way through, but it balloons well over the top of the wicketkeeper. Luckily for the Blazers, some backup behind. So far, 9 off the first 3 balls against Vikash Mohan. Silicon Valley in rather desperate need of an over like this. Faisal takes a big rip, gets the top edge. It'll run back behind Aditya. Just a single there. That one swept on the ground, very speedy, and will split the fielders. Very wide mid-wicket on the sweep from Shivam Mishra. Second boundary in the over. And this is the tallest tower on the Manhattan right now for Silicon Valley strikers with 1 ball left in the over. 14 so far off Vikash. Last ball of the 14th coming up here. And they'll make it 15 from the 14th as that one is deposited in front of Sujith Gowda at long on. And that will do it for the 14th over. Silicon Valley add 15. So far, the spinners that are turning the ball into the right-handers and away from the lefties have been where most of the runs have come for Silicon Valley. Ramsaran, the lefty wrist spinner, 28 off his 3. Vikash Mohan, 15 off of his first one as the first bit of off-spin we've seen. The Pacers and Sanjay have been economical, but Silicon Valley finding a little bit of joy here and there. 89 for 6 through 14. Carmi LaRue will bowl his 3rd over after taking care of a pair inside the power play. Went for 4 in his first over of work. One of those a leg by. Did get targeted for a 6 in his second over, which was the 5th of the encounter. First delivery into a vacant spot. They're going to go for 2. Throw is down to Aditya's end. It's a direct hit. And that is going to be all for Shivam Mishra. 3rd game running, he has been run out. And he's going to depart for 14 off 17. But what a throw from the outfield. We believe Suleiman Arabzai. Aditya was in position to sweep that onto the stumps, but at least from the naked eye, it looked like that one just simply clattered into the woodwork on his own. Dragged to a good position here and certainly thinking about the... We'll get a look here. Oh, yeah. Couldn't do it any better. Hit the top of off. You're going to do that, get him bowling. Man. Absolute missile from the deep. We'd seen a few close shaves here and there, particularly during the power play, but Suleiman Arabzai stand and deliver. And that's going to bring Saurabh Netravalkar in at 9. Silicon Valley 90 for 7. Saurabh, somewhat fascinatingly, had 8 innings with the bat in his first 2 seasons and then had 8 in 2023 on its own. In fact, one of the more remarkable stats of the entire minor league cricket season, as much as Netravalkar is obviously known for his bowling, would you believe he had a batting average of 50 last year? Only dismissed once, 50 runs off 49 deliveries. Carmine LaRue hoping to keep that sort of number a bit more in control this season, as his first delivery to Netravalkar flicked to the onside for no run. Saurav's bat, a useful little thing to break out when necessary, although generally speaking, the rule is if he bats for any prolonged period of time, it means you're not having a good day so far. He does carry a 99 strike rate and a 27.7 average overall here in minor league cricket. A high of 17 not out versus Seattle. That, though, coming in a 49-run loss last season. Gets this one in the air. That will fall safely in front of third man. Faisal already up to 10 off 6. He'll take over the strike here against LaRue. Well bowled and pushed to Ramsaran at point. Nothing doing there. Just 2 so far off the LaRue over, and the dynamite direct hit run out. They say in baseball the most exciting play in the sport is a triple. In cricket, I would contend it is a direct hit. That one climbs a little bit on Faisal and into the abdomen. Gets a little bit of wood to it, but not enough to score anything off of it. Just 2 off the LaRue over and the run out. Silicon Valley now in a world of hurt, 91 for 7 through 15. Rushil Ugarkar back into the attack. He's taken 1 wicket in this match. It was the very first one, managing to get Kamran Hotak way back in the power play for just 2 runs. First delivery of this 16th over. It back past him for a single. Saurabh Netravalkar with 2 so far off the 4 he's faced. This one lifted in the air, could be a chance. Vikash Mohan circling, and he will make the catch. Faisal Khan dismissed for 10 off 9. Ugarkar's got his second. And we said a world of hurt earlier for Silicon Valley. I don't know what you'd call it now. 92 for 8. Just Ishwarjit Sohi and Kush Balala left over right now in the shed. And just trying to do a little too much, perhaps, with that delivery, as at least getting to triple digits would be something in the way of a mental victory for the strikers. Toe ends that one in the air, and an easy take for Vikash Mohan, coming in about 10 yards from his position at the boundary rope. It's going to be a slight mystery as he strides out, as we work out which of the 2 batters with no name on their back or no number on their back is actually going out there. Okay, it appears to be, I think, Kush Balala. I believe that's what we heard from the dugout. We can get a little bit more of a zoom. I know Ishwarjit Sohi has some very distinctive facial hair, and that does help a little bit in identification. Of course, the helmet, frustrating that. Actually, I'm thinking that's Ishwarajat. We'll wait for official word. There it goes. Okay. Indeed, it is Sohi. That one's going to get his hip as it climbs up. Throw down to the bowler's end. Wide of the stumps. And Ishwarajat off the mark. Came to the crease twice during the Super 8s last season in his debut performances with the Strikers. Came in at 8 both times, in at 10 today. 3 runs against Lone Star. Faced 1 delivery and did not score against East Bay. He's already done a little better than that. Sarab works that to the onside for a single. After the, I should say, actually, Ishwat has not done better than that yet because he doesn't get credit for a run scored off his hip. Leg by on that 3rd delivery of the over. Looking at Silicon Valley's options, all hands on deck for the final 4 overs. Everybody's got at least 1 left that's bowled so far today as that one whistles past the splice of the bat. A dot delivery here from Ugarkar. Sanjay Karmai, Ramsaran, Paradkar, and in a moment, Ugarkar have all bowled 3. Vikash the 1, so we could see a parade of 4th overs for Blazers bowlers in a moment. Last one of the 16th. That one very nearly taking out Ishwarajat Sohi on that one. Did he? We're seeing congratulations. That might well be it. I did not see the finger at first, but it is up. And gone LBW is Ishwarajat Sohi. Faces 3 balls and is gone LBW. It was a little bit uncertain whether there was an edge on this one or not, but in the slow-mo, no doubt whatsoever. Didn't get the bat down in time. And it is a 3rd wicket of the encounter for Ugarkar. Let youth reign. The 21-year-old from St. Louis has got 3. The 23-year-old from San Diego, Abhishek Paradkar, has got 4. And Suleiman Arabzai who is a 19-year-old from Nangarhar, Afghanistan, with the run out to account for an 8th wicket. 1 for Sanjay Krishnamurthy, who's 21. Youth revolution indeed. Silicon Valley now down 9 wickets. 24 balls left in theory, but it'll be Kushpalala and Sarab Netravalkar batting against Carmine LaRue as he looks to clean up this final wicket and get East Bay into an innings break with a manageable total. Targeting the stumps on the first delivery to Netravalkar. The 31-year-old from Johannesburg. Last season, 11 wickets at 10.4 per. One of the more remarkable stats for LaRue. Just 6.7% of the balls he bowled went to the boundary rope. The division average is 12. Very good at keeping the ball here on the infield. Another dot delivery. Good work on the infield there. The captain, Sanjay Krishnamurthy, keeping that from reaching the outfield, keeping Silicon Valley from adding to their total. That one targeting the pads. They'll look to take a run, attempt at a run out back at the wicket keeper's end, nothing doing. Kushbalala at the other end, just one match played, has yet to face a ball in minor league cricket. Remains at the non-striker's end after 4 consecutive dots from Karmai. This one rises on Netravalkar, tapped to point. Ramsaran up with it. And LaRue looking to finish his spell with a maiden over. Gave up 10 in his second over of work. And otherwise has bowled 17, perhaps soon to be 18 balls for just 5 runs. That one tapped into the ground, make it 6. They will take a quick single. Netravalkar will keep the strike for over number 18 in just a moment. Silicon Valley through 17 overs, 95 for 9. Abhishek Paradkar in for his final over of the spell. He's taken 4 for 13, best figures he's had in minor league cricket. In search of a fifer against the number 9 and number 11. It'll be Saurabh Netravalkar to face. First delivery, a swing and a miss. All blocked nicely by Aditya Ganesh. And a dot to start. A look here at the assembled masses for Blazers Family Festival Day here in Santa Clara. That one shot along the ground through a gap on the offside. That'll be a single for Saurabh Netravalkar, and Kushbalala will face his first delivery in MILC. Balala waits. Abhishek might have thought he picked up the edge for just a moment there, but nothing doing. East Bay trying to slam the door here. Silicon Valley still shy of triple digits at this point. This rivalry that has produced some absolutely scintillating games and occasionally some very one-sided affairs, with the rivalry itself anything but one-sided. East Bay Blazers, the only team with a winning record over the Silicon Valley Strikers that's faced them more than once in MILC history, at 4-3. That one has gotten the pad, the finger is up, and the innings is over. Abhishek Paradkar takes 5 for best figures of his career here in minor league. Emboldened by the experience out in the Netherlands with the United States. 5 for 14, take a bow, take the ball, lead your team off the field. Excellent stuff there. Silicon Valley Strikers are 96 all out, and it'll be a target of 97 for the East Bay Blazers to chase when we come back 15 minutes from now. We'll take a look at the batting and bowling cards here before we head to a short break. As the game ball is handed to Abhishek Paradkar just to the left of the pitch. The batting card is rough reading. Anthony Bramble is going to feel, this looks a little familiar to him. A lot of last year's Golden State Grizzlies games looked like this. A 41 off 33 for him, and then otherwise, no one over 14. Two big runouts over the course, one big run out there from Suleiman Arabzai, but mostly it's damage done by the two young bowlers, Paradkar and Ugarkar. 5 for Abhishek as we head over to the bowling card here and examine the spectacular stats for the men in yellow. Sanjay Krishnamurthy, uber economical, 1 for 7 from his 3. Ugarkar, 3 wickets, and normally 3 for 13 and 3 overs would be the story, but Abhishek Paradkar, his first minor league cricket 5-fer for just 14 runs. Silicon Valley approached triple digits thanks to some production against Ramsaran and Vikash Mohan, 43 off of those 4 overs, but otherwise it was shut down stuff from the East Bay attack. We'll be back in about 15 with the second innings and the run chase of 97 for the Blazers, and back a little bit before that to take a look at the first innings highlights. Until then, we hope you'll stick around. Cricket fans, we're going to take a look at how that 96 all out for the Silicon Valley Strikers came to be. Early on, we saw some creativity, attempts to get some interesting shots going from Cameron Hotak, but a bit more in the way of just brute force off the bat of Anthony Bramble. It would be Rushilu Garkar who would strike first for the for East Bay, getting Cameron Hotak to feather that one back into the gloves of Aditya Ganesh. Carmine LaRue, a bit expensive in his second over of work. Anthony Bramble targeting him as he partnered the skipper Shehan Jayasuriya. Christopher Ramsaran as well, one of the main bowlers attacked by Silicon Valley, 28 off his 3 today. But Abhishek Paradkar would pick up his first here as he got a similar feathered edge, this time to the opposite side. And Aditya Ganesh, again, wrapped the gloves around it. Bramble continuing his assault on left arm wrist spin here with a 6 over cow corner. Targeting the bouncy castle here for Blazers Family Festival Day. Paradkar, though, back into the attack. He would square up the Guyanese cricketer in front of the stumps for an LBW, and that was the beginning of, well, quite the collapse at that point. You notice 55 on the board then. Gary Graham trying to get going, but toe ends this one in the air, squeezed by Usman Ghani over a deep mid-wicket. That would be 2 in the over. Why not 3? Squaring up Pranay Suri on the very first ball he faces. Suri a little bothered perhaps by the line, maybe by the height, but given by Sundaram Subramanian, and that is the only person whose opinion matters in that particular moment. The LBW there leading to Adit Gorawara and Shiva Mishra having to really conserve their wickets if at all possible and see what they could do to build a defensible total. Adit Gorawara, though, would not last long, nearly LBW'd on one delivery. On the very next one, toe ends that after throwing the shot early. Sanjay picks up his first wicket as that one goes to Ramsaran. Faisal Khan, few decent looking swings of the bat for him as he snuck that one just over the top of Carmine LaRue for a first 6 here in minor league. Shiva Mishra would sweep this one out to the boundary, splitting a pair of fielders and getting Silicon Valley up to 89, and then all heck broke loose. This ball rolled into position, trying to go for a 2, and the direct hit from Suleiman Arabzai in the deep. What a way to announce your name to USA cricket circles here. That would be wicket 7. Faisal Khan trying to get what he could out of the remaining overs. Picks out Vikash Mohan in the deep. That's wicket 8. And Rushilu Garkar would make it 3 for himself by picking off Ishwarjat Sohi, LBW, on the last ball of that over. Abhishek Paradkar back in, 9 wickets down, sitting on a chance at a 5-fer, and he would claim it, cleaning up Kush Palala on the second ball he's faced in minor league cricket action, LBW. And that would be all she wrote. Again, Paradkar 5 for 14. The incredible bowling stats for him to go along with 3 for 13 in 3 overs from Rushilu Garkar, Krishnamurthy with 1, and of course the Suleiman Arabzai run out. The children are the future, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty much all the big action for East Bay coming from folks under the age of 23. That has set a target of 97, which will be attacked by the Blazers in just a few minutes when we get the second innings underway. We'll be right back here on the MLC Network. 97 is the target for the East Bay Blazers to try to claim victory today and put a stranglehold on the early race for the Western Division crown. Joe Hickey with you here. Vishal Tiku of Quick Live at the controls. We've got Ranjit, Aditya, and Abhinav working the cameras for you and giving you the best possible view of one of the stars of Bay Area cricket here, Saurabh Netravalkar, who will take the ball to start off today's defense of a total of 96 all out. It's going to be Sandeep Ganesh and Sujith Gowda as the openers here for the men in gold. Blazers looking for a happy end to the Blazers Family Festival. It's been a big week for the organization after hosting the Bay Area Open, a women's tournament over the course of Labor Day weekend, now celebrating the first anniversary of the Blazers Cricket Academy at a festival day here in Santa Clara. Saurabh Netravalkar, though, known for, bringing parties to a very brisk end over the course of his career, particularly over the course of this season. He'll be facing off with Sujith Gowda, one of the two prodigal sons on this East Bay team. Back from Dallas after 2 years there, hoping to maybe make himself a repeat champion, given that his team on the whole will be unable to do that. The Dallas Mustangs uninvolved, the East Bay Blazers looking for that first title and looking to put themselves in pole position here. Although Saurabh Netravalkar's first delivery, a tricky one. And of course, they always say you never know what to make of a pitch until you've seen both teams bat on it. In that Bay Area Open over the weekend, Santa Clara was the lowest scoring ground of that tournament. Netravalkar targeting off stump with that ball, looking to work that angle across as he bowls over the wicket, but gets out about as wide as he can with that left arm delivery to try to angle across. Slip in place for Saurabh. Deep protection here in the first over is at long off and at square leg. Pulls that line just a little bit further toward leg. Another one knocked down, and Gowda so far dotted up 3 times to start the run chase. Netravalkar, of course, with an absolute murderer's row of a victim list this season, or this summer, I should say, in terms of wickets he's taken. Aiden Markram, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Mohammad Rizwan, Kyron Pollard, Devin Conway, Faf du Plessis, Sunil Narain, and a partridge in a pear tree. Looking to add another name to that list. Worked off the hips as Saurabh continues to creep further toward leg stump with his line. Gowda, and by extension, the Blazers now underway. Sandeep Ganesh missed a good chunk of 2023 due to an injury suffered in USA cricket training. Was able to contribute in the last few games of the regular season last year for East Bay, picking up 75 runs off 56 balls, an 18.8 average, and a 134 strike rate after missing the first half of the season. Vikash Mohan replaced him up at the top of the order. Offers at it and pulls back. Netravalkar trying to tempt that edge. Very effective in the early going for the East Bay bowlers. First 2 dismissals of Silicon Valley's innings both came courtesy of edges into the gloves of Aditya Ganesh. Anthony Bramble ready to pounce. Bramble was second in all of MILC last year, for that matter, in total dismissals with 14. Saurabh's ex-teammate Unmuk Chan, now over in Atlanta, was the only one with more. Another fantastic delivery, puts it right on the button. And much like yesterday, just one scoring shot from the first over. Unlike yesterday, it's not even a 4, just a single run for East Bay from over number 1, 1 for no loss. So far, the story of today's game has been the youth movement. For the Blazers, Suleiman Arabzai, the 19-year-old with the spectacular throw to dismiss Shiva Mishra. Abhishek Paradkar, the 23-year-old, taking 5 for. Rushilu Garkar, the 21-year-old, taking 3. Well, here's another youngster for the Silicon Valley Strikers, Faisal Khan. Into the attack, a 19-year-old left arm quick from Afghanistan. He has got some serious pace. That one's going to stay down on the pitch. Has Gowda at 6s and 7s trying to flag that down. Have here a little concern about one of the markers being moved by the bowler here. Looking to put that one back. Suyog Patil right now, the umpire behind the stumps. Didn't catch during the first innings that he and Mr. Subramanian were swapping places between overs, so it will be Suyog here for even numbered overs. First ball hit with some authority here of this run chase, and it is a 4 on one hop for Sujith Gowda, right back over the head of Faisal Khan. Get a look at that shot here. Oh, just hold the pose. Sujith Gowda on a lovely 81-degree afternoon here in Santa Clara. Beautiful weather, beautiful bowling, beautiful shots. This one pushed wide of his batting mate, Saideep Ganesh. Gowda adds another. He's got all 6 of East Bay's runs so far. Faisal Khan yesterday 3 for 10. Very economical bowling against the Golden State Grizzlies and responsible for cleaning up the tail as he dismissed Vatsal Vagela, Dev Tadani, and Anish Deshpande to put the Grizzlies all out on the final delivery of the 20th over. Targeting the pads of Ganesh. Fended off, but no run there. Saideep, in years past, somebody who targeted pace and batted in a brilliantly balanced combination with David White. Last season, though, a big split in favor of scoring quickly against spin. This one's in the air, could be a chance, and it is squeezed! Just over the head of Faisal Khan, Saurabh Netravalkar. Just as we were saying, the issues Ganesh had last season with pace. He was dismissed once every 9 balls against Pacers. Today, he only gets to face 4. And he departs with a duck. An early strike for the Strikers. They're going to need a lot more of that if they're going to defend a 96 all-out total from the first innings. But so far, so good. East Bay, 6 for 1. We take a look here, a very full delivery, a bit toe-ended by Saideep Ganesh. Lofts that lollipop straight into the hands of Saurabh Netravalkar. Sarab unable to claim a wicket as a bowler in the first over, so he grabs himself one as a fielder in the second. And that's going to bring in Sanjay Krishnamurthy in at number 3. Saideep off to a little bit of a slow start to the 2024 campaign. Just 7 off 13 in the first match of the season, but this was the partnership against the Strikers 8 days ago. Sujith Gowda, Sanjay Krishnamurthy. Sanjay entered the fray at 23 for 1. He was dismissed 80 runs later, with most of the chase done. He'll face the final delivery of the second from Faisal. That one whistles past the outside edge. No contact, though, and Sanjay will survive. That ends the over, 5 from it, but importantly, the wicket of Saideep Ganesh, one opener down. Sujith Gowda will face the first delivery of the third on the other side of this break. East Bay 6 for 1. It'll be Saurabh Netravalkar continuing here in the odd-numbered overs. If you're joining us late here, every over of this match being bowled from the Homestead Avenue end due to some issues on the run-up on the opposite side. So we will see between overs the batters swapping places as Sujith Gowda goes back on strike. Netravalkar so far 6 of his first 7 deliveries have been dot deliveries. Netravalkar picking up where he left off in 2023 minor league. Economical in the power play and more of a wicket-taking threat in the death overs. It's also gotten one in ostensibly the middle overs, but it was the 15th. After yesterday's spell, by the way, an absolutely goofy 79% of his deliveries inside the power play have been dots. 19 of the 24, and he's now got 7 of the first 8 today, so that's actually increased. Make it 8 of the first 9. Perhaps the surprising thing so far here is that right-handed batters have had a little bit of luck hitting him for boundaries. Coming into today's action, 6 of 37 deliveries against righties have gone to the rope. Just 1 out of the 11 he's bowled at left-handed batters have. Pair of righties at the crease here, even after the dismissal of Ganesh. That one comes up towards the splice. Netravalkar not quite at his best in the first matchup between these two teams. 29 runs and no wickets taken in his 4 overs. Yesterday, a little more in keeping with what we expect. 2 for 12, claiming Mohit Nataraj and Paradkar. Gowda puts the bat down, defends his own castle. And Netravalkar continues to be right on target. If Silicon Valley are going to defend this and get themselves back to 500 overall against the East Bay Blazers in their history, it's going to have to look like this up front, perhaps with a little bit more of a cutting edge. One down so far, just 6 runs off the first 17 balls. Here comes the last of the third from Netravalkar. That one picks up an edge and it will run away wide of the slip. Coming back for a second, our Gowda and Krishnamurthy throw down to the wicketkeeper's end, but very much in time. So it won't be a maiden for Netravalkar here in the third, but just 2 from it. East Bay 8 for 1 through 3.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Ishwarjit Sohi, coming off of a player of the match performance yesterday down in Morgan Hill, will enter the attack here for over number 4. So he took 4 wickets for a run of all 24 runs in his 4 overs of work. Claimed a few big ones, got Rahul Jariwala early. Took out Kranti Kumar before he could do a whole lot in the way of damage. And then was responsible for dismissing Manav Nayak, who had gotten off to a decent start. Nayak, the freshly minted USA Under-19 international, had 27 off 29, was starting to build a partnership with Mohit Nataraj. Saurabh took care of Mohit on 32 off 13. And then in the next over, so he got Manav Nayak and AJ Amadi, and that was pretty much all she wrote. The rest of it was just a matter of bowling out the remaining overs and claiming a 61-run victory. Ishwarjit marking up his run-up. First delivery's got some width, and shot is the call from the assembled 300-plus fans here in Santa Clara. Sanjay Krishnamurthy. Stop me if you've seen that before. My goodness. Knows what to do with a little bit of width. And a 4 back behind point. Cuts that away. We saw quite a bit of that with the San Francisco Unicorns. We remember that brilliant 79 not out off 42, delivering the Washington Freedom, and Saurabh Netravalkar, their only loss of the season. That one is put in the air for a moment. Kamaran Hotak comes down with it, looking to target a direct hit. Krishnamurthy looked like he had gotten out of the blocks fast enough. And the throw, either way, well wide of the stumps. .124 runs at an average of about 24 in Major League last season. This past couple of months ago for Sanjay, a .129 strike rate in minor league in 2023. He gives way to Sujith Gowda back on strike. Gowda's one season here in the Bay Area was quite something else. 481 runs to his name at a 148 strike rate and a 37 average. Topped out at 93, hit these strikers for 84 off 47, albeit in a loss. That one, I think, winds up in Gowda's equipment for a moment after taking a big rip at a ball climbing from Ishwarjit Sohi. Of note, Gowda with a 51 in his first match of this season became the 4th leading scorer of all time here in minor league cricket. He started the year, and that game, by extension, just 50 runs back of David White. Bit of a down year, though, in 2023. Strike rate came down to 97 from a career mark here in minor league of 136. His biggest issue, and we're seeing maybe a little bit of that right here, was a struggle to get himself started. Strike rate of 70 in the first 10 balls of an innings last season. And was out 6 times out of 13 matches within those first 10 deliveries. He survived longer than that here and now looks to make his mark with a boundary as that one is flayed off the top edge and will roll all the way there past the vacant third man region. You want to be very careful about providing width and a little bit of altitude to somebody like Gouda if you've got third man pulled in, although that was not all that bad of a delivery as we got to look at the replay. He was looking to cramp Gouda. He didn't make the best contact with that, but he does pick up 4 for his trouble. Second boundary of the over off of Sohi. Here comes the final delivery, and that is gorgeous. Shot through a gap and nobody out there in the deep with protection all behind him at backward point and backward square. Gouda picks up a second 4 on the trot and ends over number 4 in style. East Bay looking to bring up the acceleration. A wide Yorker dealt with great authority by Gouda. East Bay 21 for 1. The camera there briefly following the Oracle, Sarab Netravalkar, but it will be Faisal Khan bowling the next over here from this end. The first odd-numbered over, not bowled by Sarab. First delivery from the lefty quick, targeting the stumps. Defended by Krishnamurthy. Faisal in his first over conceded 5 runs and took the wicket of Saideep Ganesh. Victimized by Sujith Gouda for his first 4 of the 3 he now has to his name. Somebody that Silicon Valley team manager Jayanth Chakravarti told me is going to be someone Silicon Valley relies on this season, that partner for Netravalkar as that one stays under the bat of Sanjay. That partner in the power play in particular for Netravalkar, something that Silicon Valley struggled to find last year. In 2022, when they were near unbeatable, it was all about power play bowling and finishing with the bat at the death. Scored nearly 2 runs and a ball at the death in 2022. In 23, it was middle overs economy and opening partnerships. That is absolutely gorgeous from Sanjay over the top of the Blazers pavilion. And they rise to their feet to applaud the work of their young skipper. You can hear the calls coming from the assembled masses, some of them at the pavilion, some of them directly behind me, enjoying the work of the Wunderkind. Delivery from Faisal. Again, a bit of width. The length, a touch on the full side, and absolutely dispatched by Krishnamurthy. That one straight back past Faisal, the stumps, and Sundaram Subramanian, and that is a 4. Two shots of authority from Sanjay Krishnamurthy. Faisal pulls his line a bit closer to the stumps rather than opening the face. Krishnamurthy just slaps it right back from where it came. After a few very economical overs to start, 1, 5, and 2 off the first 3 overs, now 13 and 10 off the last 2. And just like that, East Bay nearly a third of the way to the total here in the 5th over. Faisal looking for the comeback. 4-stump line. Diving play in the infield. That by Kushbalala keeps that nearby and limits Krishnamurthy to a single. Gowda will face the last of this 5th over. And a dot ball to finish as he cramps Gowda for space. Well defended. And East Bay looked to hit the accelerator. They took 13 off Sohi, 11 here off Faisal Khan. East Bay 32 for 1 over left in the power play. Our first introduction of spin into the attack means a change of headwear for Anthony Bramble as a helmet is run out to him by Shrish Prakash. He'll be creeping up towards the stumps as Sanjay Krishnamurthy prepares to face off with Kamran Hotak. Kamran just bowled a single over yesterday for 9 runs. 4 dots, a 6 and a 3, courtesy of a few overthrows. Has yet to really find the economy to this point. Bowled 2 overs in the earlier matchup between these two sides. Gave up 19 runs. So far, his major contribution to the Silicon Valley Strikers has been with bat in hand. That delivery doesn't stay within the tram lines, a wide here. Targeting the stumps, maybe even the pads, Sanjay defends. Kamran, as we said, the 19-year-old Afghan captain of the under-19 team. And that's another fantastic shot from Sanjay Krishnamurthy. Will it have enough petrol to make it to the boundary rope? And indeed it does. Sanjay moves up to 16 now off of 10 as we get a look, 20 off of 11 as we get a look at his third 4 so far of the encounter to go along with 1 maximum. Now works that one off the pads into a vacant area behind square. They'll look to take 2. Throw coming into the wicketkeeper's end. Sanjay home in with no difficulty. Playing a little bit of limbo to keep from colliding with said throw. Just 2 balls left in the power play to the deep protection against Krishnamurthy at long off and at mid-wicket. That is in the air, and that is all she wrote. Sanjay Krishnamurthy loses out on the battle with Kamran Hotak, a 4 and a 2 to win a couple battles, but loses the war. Sanjay will depart with 22 off 13. And a valuable second wicket inside the power play here as Silicon Valley look to hold themselves in this game for long enough to put some doubt into the Blazers' minds. For Kamran, it's his first minor league cricket wicket. It'd be tough to take much bigger of a name here as his insertion gets it done, and we see a good bit of turn off the surface, pulling up the edge, and the moment that leaves the bat of Krishnamurthy, you can see the shoulders drop. He knows he's done. Captain back into the pavilion after being caught by Ish Sohi. That'll bring in Usman Ghani to face his first deliveries here as a minor league cricketer. One Afghan player takes a wicket. He'll face off with his countryman. Ghani, 27 years old. Today the story has been youth thus far. Ghani a little more experienced than some of the players we've discussed so far, but does possess the second youngest ODI century in cricket history. Swings through the first ball as that climbs off the pitch from Kamran Hotak. And that is the final delivery of this sixth over, and therefore the final delivery of the power play. A productive one initially for Sanjay Krishnamurthy, a 4 and a 2 after a wide, but dismissed on the fifth ball of the over, caught by Ishwar Sohi. East Bay finished the power play at 39 for 2. New bowler into the attack for the Silicon Valley Strikers, and it's Kushpalala, lefty spinner. Just his second over. And that first delivery certainly causes a little bit of noise to be made here as he nearly squares up Sujith Gowda. Just the second over bowled by Kushpalala in his minor league career. This time around, very short, fires that one through a gap on the infield, and they'll take 2. Long runs out in the deep for Pranay Suri and his teammate, the deep protector at long on. Of course, now 5 outside the circle, backward square, mid-wicket, long off, long on, and extra cover. That one is going to go where nobody is at the deep, over the head of a drawn-in third man, Gary Graham in hot pursuit, and they'll take another pair of runs here. Gowda ticking that strike rate for the day up towards 100, now 20 off 21. Balala's 1 over of action back in the Super 8s last season went for 17 runs. He'll be looking for a bit more in the way of economy here. As the Strikers are quickly running out of wiggle room, the run rate required to win this game sitting at 4s. The answer almost certainly is going to need to be a flurry of wickets. That one's in the air and is going to split the deep men at mid-wicket and long on. A 4 for Sujith Gowda, who continues the acceleration here, looking to target a slightly less experienced bowler. Prior delivery had been a bit on the short side. This one a bit full and allows for the confident sweep. That's a little more like it, trying to split the difference. We do have anyone tuning in new to cricket. You're looking to bowl an in-between hop if you're a baseball fan. Something that's tough to judge. So far we've seen a short hop and a long hop. That one, a ton of turn on a short delivery, and that's going to end up wide of the tram line. Free run for East Bay as they are now halfway to Silicon Valley's target in just under 7 overs. That one is a very sharp chance for Kushpalala. Bursts through the hands. Absolutely hammered by Sujith Gowda, and nothing that the young man could do about that besides hope that he's got all 10 digits still there afterwards. 10 from it. East Bay Blazers now more than halfway to the target through 7, 49 for 2, 48 needed for victory.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes, creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Kamran Hotak stays in the attack for the even-numbered overs. His first delivery to Sujith Gowda, who maintained the strike after, it would be a little harsh to say, being put down by Kushbalala. It did hit the hands, but at quite a rate of knots. He has a single to start, the 50 up for East Bay. Usman Ghani facing his second delivery, still looking for that first run here in minor league cricket stateside. Ghani blocks that one to the offside, and he will take his first run and open his account. That ball run back between third man and backward point. Another single for Gowda, and that brings Ghani back on strike against Hotak. Been mentioning here the Afghan flavor to a lot of what's going on the field. The various players, Arabzai, Ghani, Kamran, Hamza Hotak, who's not playing today. Also an Afghan flavor to some of the folks in attendance here, as we do have Afghan Zwanan Cricket Club among the many clubs in attendance here at Blazers Family Festival Day, Bay Area Cricket Club, Blazers Cricket Academy, Santa Clara Cricket Club, Indus Cricket Club. And the Blazers Cricket Academy head coach, Daulat Ahmadzai, a name that Afghan cricket fans will absolutely recognize quite rapidly. Famous coach and the man renowned for his work with Rashid Khan, among others, converting him from a batter into a leg spinner, and the rest of the world says, thank you very, very much for that. Maybe not Australia. Most of the world's delighted by that. That's going to bring an end to a economical over here from Kamran Hotak. 4 from it. East Bay 53 for 2. Kushbalala stays on. The ball over number 9, Gowda. Had a few nice strokes off the young man here for the Silicon Valley Strikers in the last over. But he's not the one on strike as we get started. Usman Ghani will try to get underway. Kushbalala will try to make it a short stay at the crease. That one's in the air. That is definitely going to be held. Coming in, circling, and making the catch is Pranay Suri. Balala with his first wicket in minor league cricket. And it's a big one. Usman Ghani sent packing with 2 from 6. A third wicket down here as Silicon Valley look to apply some clamps and make this interesting. Gowda still going with just a shade over half the runs in today's game at 27 off 27. But he's going to get a new partner here as Balala, this time around, a little bit more flight on that delivery, and it's enough to bamboozle Ghani. Throws the shot a little early. Balala takes the top edge, and it nestles into the hands of Suri. That ball did take a little bit of catching, first covering the ground, and then a bit of a back pedal to grab it over the head. Here comes the man with the golden arm, Suleiman Arabzai. So far, if you've been watching today's game, you know him from absolutely pegging the left stump over at the wicket keeper's end from deep mid-wicket in order to produce one of the highlights in the field of the first innings. He will now take up the bat, and the first delivery climbs off the pitch. Perhaps a good bit of topspin there on that ball from Kushbalala. He's now started this over after giving up 10 in his first with 2 dots on either side of a wicket. They like what they're seeing so much, Silicon Valley are going to put in a slip. Bramble makes sure he's in the right spot. And they may well have him with the stumping! Appealing for whether he had left his crease, and indeed, both umpires say, job well done. Anthony Bramble led all of minor league cricket in stumpings last season with 5. He's got his first one of 2024. And Suleiman Arabzai's first innings in minor league cricket is a quick one. A 2-ball duck, a dot followed by the stumping, and Kushbalala didn't have a minor league wicket to his name about 3 minutes ago. He's got 2 in short order, and it's the turn that gets him. It's a very full delivery. Arabzai comes forward. And Bramble pointing straight at your square leg umpire, Suyak Patil. The finger goes up there, the finger goes up from Sundaram Subramanian up behind the stumps. And it's 2 wickets in the span of 3 deliveries here. A little bit of a wobble for East Bay, just 44 runs away from victory with 11 overs left to get it. But a parade of different partners the last couple of overs here for Sujith Gowda. And the next one's going to be Aditya Ganesh. Aditya last season 2 50s in minor league, a 51 against Seattle, which anybody around here that's ever batted at Tollgate Farms will tell you, well done. And a 59 against Lone Star Athletics during the Super 8s. Finished last season with a 116 strike rate and parlayed that into being the first pick in the Major League Cricket domestic draft last summer. There's a chance at the bowler's end. The ball does not reach the stumps in time. It is a direct hit, but Ganesh in safely. Sundaram Subramanian unmoved, but nearly a 3rd wicket in 4 deliveries. No surprise to see Ganesh immediately bursting out of his crease and looking to take runs with his feet. Someone who plays the ball very late, has got all the shots, the scoop, the push, the open face. And he'll leave that one back behind and take a run. So you see what his game is all about. Last season, his 81 non-boundary strike rate was the highest among all players coming back here in the Western Division by 10. He's taken 3 with the feet so far here in his first 2 deliveries faced, and that's going to bring an end to the 9th over. East Bay, 55 for 4 after a pair of wickets fall in short order. Pranay Suri into the attack for East Bay, as they've been getting some decent purchase here for their spin bowlers. They will look to just keep that coming for a little while here. 32 for 1 through 5 overs. Hotak gave up 7 but took a wicket in the 6th. Balala a little expensive in the 7th. For the last 2 overs, Hotak went for 4 singles and 2 dots, and then Balala 2 wickets, a 2 and a 1. Suri's first delivery, he evades the bat of Sujith Gowda for a dot. Strikers trying to pull this all-time rivalry back to even Steven. That one is smashed into the ground by Aditya Ganesh. Correction there. Earlier I was saying that was Gowda on strike. It is, however, back of his legs, and so as a result, a wide conceded here. Targeting the legs again, and this time Ganesh able to flip it forward, and he got a late start out to try to take that run. It's a deep man out at long off. I'm not quite sure what he was waiting for. Briefly looked like he might be in danger, but all's well that ends well. A single from it. Interesting thing about the rivalry is that it has been alternately one-sided. Even though East Bay lead it overall 4-3, those 4 wins have been the last 4 meetings between these two teams. They're responsible for the only loss Silicon Valley took in the regular season in 22. They won what amounted to a division championship playoff last season here in Santa Clara. Sansari has dismissed Sujith Gowda. Sneaks it under the bat and blows up the stumps. And don't look now, East Bay has got 5 wickets down. Still 39 runs to get, but Silicon Valley looking to pull this one back. And it's the big fish who has nearly half the runs on the board so far for the Blazers. Gowda gone for 27 off 28. Let's get a good look at this. Perhaps chopped on. Didn't quite look, at least from that first view, like it had enough turn to reach leg stump. Maybe a bit of a bottom edge onto the woodwork, but either way, Gowda out bowled for 27. Take one more look at this here, and yeah, that's what I'm going with. Pranay Suri into the attack, into the wickets. He was a middle over wicket taking machine in 2022. Had 26 wickets on the season and a 13.3 strike rate in the middle overs that season. Last year, not quite as lethal. By that, I mean he only took 15 wickets. Still pretty good. He was responsible for 1 of the 3 dismissals in the first meeting between these two teams as he got Sanjay Krishnamurthy. Yesterday, bowled 3 overs, went at just under a run a ball and did not strike. Comes the first delivery to Vikash Mohan back in his finisher role. But like Gary Graham earlier today, in a bit earlier than I imagine he would have liked to serve in that role at number 7. Picks up a single on the first delivery he faces. East Bay Blazers now 59 for 5. Tap to the offside, and Aditya was thinking about trying to take the quick single. Vikash turns him down. 1 ball left in the over as the wide needs to be re-bowled. Off spinner around the wicket from Pranay Suri, and that one's popped back behind on the offside. Gary Graham quick to keep it on the infield. And a very strong finish here. Just 3 from the over and the wicket of Sujith Gowda. East Bay in a spot of bother, chasing 97, 59 for 5 at the halfway point. And a look at that batting card so far for the East Bay Blazers. Gowda just dismissed on 27. Sanjay Krishnamurthy put in a quick-fire 22 before he was caught on the inner ring by Ishwarjit Sohi off the bowling of Kamran Hotak. And then, of course, the bang-bang from Kush Balala is what's really made things interesting here as we head into the back half of the chase. East Bay 38 runs from victory, but only 5 wickets remaining in hand. And if you take a look at where East Bay was when they lost their 5th wicket, they were at 55 for 5. Interestingly, the 5th wicket they lost was Pranay Suri, the one striking for the 5th wicket here. is Pranay, but almost at exactly the same spot. The Worms right now would just about be snuggling. At the end of the 10th over, it was 55 for 5 for Silicon Valley, 59 for 5 for East Bay as Balala starts with a dot delivery. That one's in the air, but it will fall in front of backward square. Off the bat of Vikash Mohan. Left-right combination now for the East Bay Blazers. As they look to stabilize and make sure they get home from here. We were starting to say Blazers were the only team to beat Silicon Valley in the regular season in 22. They won what amounted to a division championship game last year in Santa Clara. Dealt easily with the Strikers in the Super 8s last season. And then won on opening day, that reversing 3 straight defeats to begin their history against this club. 2 of them rather heartbreaking. Silicon Valley looking to make it 4-4, get to 1-1 against the Blazers on the season and put just about everything into play for the remainder of this abbreviated drag race of a minor league cricket 2024. Here comes Balala, 4th delivery of the over. Reverse sweep is going to get past the 2 slips behind Anthony Bramble. That won't quite have enough oomph to make it to the boundary rope. Chased down in the deep, and they'll just take the 2. Balala, after going for 10 in his first over of work, now 7 off the ensuing 10 deliveries and 2 wickets. Two slips in place for the young man, and another reverse sweep, and this one's going to be wide of the slips. Again, doesn't quite have the timing to make it all the way to the rope, but it will be another 2 for Vikash Mohan. East Bay looking to get the motor running again. One delivery left in the over for Balala. East Bay going again at a run a ball. That is an appeal for LBW and a shake of the head from Sundaram Subramanian. He is not having it. Hands the shades and the cap back to Kush Balala, and it's just a dot to finish. Through 11, East Bay 65 for 5, 32 runs away from victory.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Pranay stays in the attack. Here to bowl over number 12 after giving up 3 and taking wicket number 5. That one, just the slightest bit of an edge on it, perhaps of the pad. And we might, for a moment, I thought we were going to have an authentic slip cordon in place. It is just the 2. Gary Graham is the first slip. Second, I believe, Adit Gorawara. A flash taken at that by Aditya Ganesh, but unable to get any lumber to it. Suri continuing over the wicket, trying to create the angle. That one's a full toss, and it'll be easily dealt with by Ganesh. Pushed to Faisal Khan at long on. And a single here, 66 for 5. So we take a quick look here at the worm, and you can see, we were talking about it earlier, East Bay seemed out in front of it early, but they are presently right up there snuggling with the line, and so the 2 teams dealing relatively equally well with the pitch. That one blocked to the offside. They'll look to take a quick one. Ganesh was off like a shot from the non-striker's end. Following that 10-run over from Kushbalala in the 7th, it has now been 4-3, 3-6, and 2 so far for the last 5 overs, and 3 wickets have fallen. Here comes another one from Suri. That one has hit body for sure. But Suyog Patil is unmoved. A little bit of width, and that one is flared and going to make it past the outstretched arm of Kamran Hotak. Aditya Ganesh with the boundary shot, and an important one there. East Bay Blazers trying to keep themselves from being in any unnecessary difficulty here. That was airborne for a little while, but nobody close enough to do anything about it. It ends up being 6 off of the Suri over. East Bay now 71 for 5, 26 runs to find in 8 overs. Strikers need another wicket or two to make this really interesting, and who better to turn to at a time like that than Saurabh Netravalkar. Just 26 runs away from victory are the East Bay Blazers, but if you take a look at what's left in terms of batting, it's Christopher Ramsaran, Abhishek Paradkar, Carmine Larue, and Rishilu Garkar. And I'm not going to say that any of them are slouches with the bat or anything like that, but those are 4 players rather that are definitely in here more for their bowling than for their batting. One more wicket would really make things interesting for the time being. Ganesh and Vikash, the men trying to get it done here for the Blazers. First delivery from Netravalkar, under edge, goes back just behind square leg for a single. Saurabh's first 2 overs went for just 3 runs. As we told you, in the power play so far this season, coming into play, and absolutely goofy 79% of his deliveries had gone for dot balls. And that is actually going to increase after today because 10 out of 12 were dots. And that's bigger than 79%. That one definitely gets pad. We can hear it from here, but the umpire is not satisfied. In the meanwhile, a throw to the wicketkeeper's end is a direct hit, but everybody's home. And a stern look on the face of Saurabh Netravalkar, unhappy with that. It is a leg by, so confirmed no bat on it. We'll take a look at the replay and see what we think. May well have impacted outside leg stump. I think that's got to be the reason. Or outside off stump, I mean to say. That's got to be the reason for that decision. Pitch was fine, looked like it had enough angle to have actually struck the stumps, but if the impact is outside the line of off stump, it cannot be an LBW. I will admit a slight bias as a result of the slight angle of our pitch camera, but that's my best guess based on what we're seeing. Netravalkar coming around the wicket to the right-hander Vikash Mohan now. Blocked into the offside. Take one more look at that delivery. And even that is a little bit of a tough sell now that I've got the angle that we're looking down the pitch at in mind. That was a close one, perhaps height an issue, with Ganesh striding down the pitch just a touch. But here comes Netravalkar. A run and a leg by off the first three. That time definitely in line. It's got to be height, and Netravalkar continues to be frustrated by the call. That one may also have had some issues with the angle that Netravalkar generates as a lefty coming around the wicket. Might have been going down leg for that matter. We'll take another look. Yeah, that's almost certainly going down leg. This time the impact's good, but I don't think that one's going to stay on a stump line if you let it keep going. We don't have Hawkeye here in minor league cricket. You just have, well, Joe's eyes and Vishal's eye in the sky. Fourth stump line, tapped to the man in the circle, Shehan Jayasuriya. 3 dots on the trot. 2 howls for a wicket that would really open this encounter up if it does come in the near future. Netravalkar, generally a very cool customer. That might be the most agitation I've ever seen on his face. That one stands up. It does take the splice of the bat. And on the third call, Saurabh Netravalkar does have that wicket. And it's Vikash Mohan gone for 8 off 12. Thought he had Aditya Ganesh squared up leg before, then thought he had Vikash. Impact perhaps the problem on the first. Angle of attack the issue on the second. This time around, a length ball, maybe even a little full, that gets big on Vikash and takes the top edge of the bat as he reaches out to defend it. The glint of Bramble's sunglasses, or perhaps of his smile, as that wicket falls. East Bay now 73 for 6. To continue the comparison here to the innings authored by Silicon Valley earlier, wicket number 6 fell for Silicon Valley with 70 runs on the board, and on the second ball of the 13th over. So far, a very evenly pitched match. Vikash Mohan is done. It's going to be Aditya Ganesh partnering the tail for East Bay to try to get home. Ordinarily, you would say 24 runs off of 7 overs, not a very tall order. But the way this pitch has behaved, and with just 4 wickets left in hand, got ourselves a bit of a barn burner here. Pranay will stay on. A wicket and 3 runs off his first, 6 runs off his second. That one sticks in the pitch for a little bit, and we see Aditya Ganesh having to make a late adjustment just to get the bat on it. Certainly willing to play it late. There's going to be an attempt at a run out. Ganesh certainly thought about turning tail and trying to get back on strike and take a second run after the throw was wide, but well backed up by Faisal Khan. Just a single, and that'll bring the new batter Abhishek Paradkar on strike. Offers briefly at that, then lets it go into the gloves of Anthony Bramble. Abhishek, 2 runs off 16 balls faced last season in minor league, a 62 strike rate in his career. Watches that one into Bramble's gloves, never threatening the stumps. Takes a big rip at that one. Bramble thought he might have gotten a touch. No edge there. Paradkar survives. That one with a ton of turn on it. Suri had created the angle in toward the pads, and it spins away into Bramble's gloves. Unfortunately, the turn just a smidge too extravagant to produce the edge that would have been necessary to dismiss him. East Bay 80 for the loss of 6 through 14. It is Shehan Jayasuriya into the attack, as spin has been the order of the day to get Silicon Valley back into this. Saurabh Netravalkar's earlier wicket notwithstanding, but Shehan Jayasuriya has been a spin bowling ace in the middle overs for the Strikers the last couple of seasons. Last year, an economy of 5 overall, 9 wickets taken at about 13 runs per. That delivery worked off of a fourth stump line by Aditya Ganesh. Finds Netravalkar in the deep in the covers. A single for him, but that's going to put Paradkar back on strike. 4 dot deliveries so far against him. That has taken an edge and is caught by the slip. A 7th wicket down, and Silicon Valley are absolutely in this one now. Abhishek Paradkar gone for a 5-ball duck. And Jayasuriya, after getting taken to the cleaners in one nightmare of an over against Mohit Nataraj last game against the Grizzlies, has come into the attack and set down another big wicket. Gary Graham, you see the technique, ready for it. Pops up on him a little bit, but grasps that with that big paw. The 42-year-old Jamaican runs off in delight. Some issues at the moment with the scorecard. We'll get you caught up. I believe the Blazers, in fact, 80 now for the loss of 7. There we go, a little bit of an issue. In fact, even fewer runs than that. Prakash Giri of the Northern California Cricket Association helping out with a bit of a disrepair that the scorecard had briefly gotten into. First delivery to the new batter. That one has wrapped the pads. Thought I heard 2 sounds from here. As Rushil Ugarkar in at the crease with 7 wickets down and 22 runs to go. Ample deliveries at this point, as Shehan Jayasuriya has authored an absolute peach of a 15th over. 1 run from it, the wicket of Abhishek Paradkar. And we'll go to the 16th. East Bay, 22 runs from victory, but only 3 wickets left in hand. And a quick changeover here. Obviously easy to do, as we've had to bowl all overs from the same end in this match due to an issue with the run-up coming from the schoolhouse end. Pranay Suri stays on, 1 for 10 in his 3 overs. His first ball to Aditya Ganesh is a dot. Ganesh rocks back after an initial jump forward. Shehan Jayasuriya keeps that on the infield, and it will just be the single for Ganesh and put Rushil Ugarkar back on strike. That was an absolute peach from Pranay. A little bit of angle coming around the wicket, a bit of turn back towards the woodwork. I think it would have taken off the top of fourth stump. Paradkar feeling a little helpless. My goodness, that had a lot of turn on it. Woo! What a ball. Rushil Paradkar right now. That's a tough couple of balls to face in his first deliveries here in minor league cricket. The two from Jayasuriya and then that one from Pranay. Continue to have some issues here. If I heard the sound of it, somebody signing in to our scorecard and changing it. I believe we now have it rectified. 76 for 7, 21 runs away from victory for Silicon Valley, potentially 3 wickets away from pulling an unexpected rabbit out of the hat. Suri over the wicket. Paradkar, a cut and a miss. We see a slip and a leg slip in place for Paradkar, and Faisal Khan coming in from long off to mid off. That one an edge in the direction of the pads, and that's going to get back behind. In fact, that was all turn. That was turn from Pranay that took it there. That's a bye. And it wound up wide of leg slip. That was unreal. He is extracting quite a bit out of this surface. But it will put Aditya Ganesh on strike here. 20 runs from victory. 77 for the loss of 7 so far. And again, that extravagant turn, this time so extravagant that it's carried wide. Push just behind point. No run there. Rushil Paradkar will be on strike. 4 overs remaining, and take a good look there. The run rate and run rate required just about equivalent as we go to the 17th. East Bay Blazers, 78 for 7. Of the very experienced brain trust for the Silicon Valley Strikers club, as we told you at the time. As we told you at the time, this Silicon Valley Strikers team bringing back only 4 players that saw regular season game time last year. Netravalkar, Graham, Jayasuriya, and Suri. They've all had their say here in this second innings. Jayasuriya and Netravalkar and Suri all taking wickets. Gary Graham positioned perfectly at slip to claim one of those. It's going to be the skipper, Shahan, back with ball in hand for over number 17. 19 needed off 24. Just a shade under the rate that East Bay have accumulated to this point overall. Paradkar looking for the paddle sweep. Cannot make contact, did get the pad, but looked like it was outside off stump. Had stepped well across his stumps to try to access the onside, and moving into that position is the leg slip. Again looking for the sweep, and this time does beat the infield. long run, and they'll look to take a pair. Throw is coming to the wicket-keeper's end, and Paradkar with his first runs in minor league cricket with bat in hand has moved East Bay up to 80. 17 now required. Aditya Ganesh at the other end, obviously the big fish given historical contributions with the bat. But freeing up either side would be big with just Christopher Ramsaran and Carmine LaRue available in the pavilion. Over the wicket, Jayasuriya. Flat delivery, Paradkar flails the hands at it. Gets one down in front of Kamran Hotak at long on, and that is going to put Aditya Ganesh back on strike. 3 so far from the over. Asking rate of 4.5. At the innings break, you would have been forgiven for thinking that this was going to be a simple affair to get this chase done. It has been anything but. That one pops up as Ganesh goes for the sweep towards a largely vacant onside. Just 3 fielders over there, and all of them back against the rope. Backward square, mid-wicket, and long on. Slip and a gully in place. Everybody else on the offside. That is going to be put on the ground. Running in to pick it up with a bare hand is Saurabh. The run will come across, though, as Ganesh takes a quick one. Back to the right-hander, Rushil, who's got 3 runs so far in the over. Has found Jayasuriya's bowling a little more to his liking than that of Pranay. Gets into that one, lofts it all the way for 6. A shot from Rushil Paradkar that may well take some of the drama out of this one as the asking rate drops all of a sudden to 3 runs and over. That brings an end to the 17th. 9 needed from the last 18 balls. And a bit of a miss on length from Jayasuriya. That one too full. Paradkar meets the pitch of the ball with that slog sweep. And it's over the top of cow corner for a big 6. East Bay 88 for 7 now. And it's going to be Saurabh Netravalkar. Certainly looking for economy, but quite probably also looking to knock over Aditya and Rushil Paradkar and get his team home. 18 balls remain in this one. I would have said we were approaching about 50-50 on CricViz before that 6. Advantage now decisively East Bay, but Saurabh Netravalkar is an advantage all on his lonesome. Not too many teams have this in their back pocket for over number 18. First ball tapped back behind point. It'll be a single for Ganesh as the ball's chased down by Pranay. Ignore the 4 that just showed up on the scoreboard. Not sure what that's about. It is a single. There are 8 runs still left to get. Rushil Paradkar back on strike. $89 for 7 now. 8 to get. Paradkar with a big 6 has made this much more tenable. Runs that off the face of the bat. Picks up another 7 to go. Paradkar into double figures in his first minor league innings. A little bit of nerve in that East Bay dugout, but probably the heart rate down a good 20 beats from what it was roughly 5 minutes ago. Netravalker to steam in from the Homestead Avenue end. That one rises on Ganesh, might have claimed an edge. The umpire is unmoved. Almost a mirror image of the wicket Netravalker took to dismiss Vikash Mohan. A ball that rose up, Ganesh initially offering at it. Appeals going in both directions. It was Suyog Patil with the decision to make behind the wickets. He is going to consult with Sundaram Subramanian and see if he believes he saw or heard anything there to merit a dismissal. A big conference here. If you had DRS, obviously the appeal would have happened in 2 seconds. The strikers absolutely beside themselves here, even after the consult. The decision is no wicket. Let's get a look at the replay here. A bit short, rises up. Ganesh tries to just desperately to drop the hands, but I don't know if there's anything from that angle that's decisive. You would need ultra edge. The camera doesn't make it clear, but for sure, the assembled masses around there. Let's get a look at this from the view behind. And I am going to go out on a limb and say I think the sound they heard was it brushing his shoulder. At least from that angle. It looks like the hands get down and then the ball brushes the shoulder of Aditya Ganesh. Commotion here at Santa Clara. Into the exciting last few deliveries of Blazers Family Festival Day here at the Santa Clara Cricket Club. A matchup whose history and current importance has been reflected in how tight it has gotten down the stretch. 7 now needed, off 15. That one run back behind. They look to take a quick single, and it's fumbled by Gary Graham, and it will be a run. East Bay potentially 1 shot away from the win. Gowda's 27 leads all scorers. Krishnamurthy a quick fire 22. Since then, it's been a little bit bare. These two, the only other double-digit scores on the Blazers card. Ugarkar, after being stapled to his crease for the first 6 deliveries and unable to get on the board, has scored 10 off the last 4 he's faced. Netravalker steaming in. That one worked into the vacant mid-wicket region. They will take 1. Ganesh and Ugarkar throw up the stop sign for one another. Saurabh Netravalker came in with 1 for 4 in his first 3 overs of work. He has conceded 4 further runs here. Blazers 5 runs away from victory. This will be the last ball of Netravalker's spell. Be a big feather in the cap of the Blazers if they can survive it. That one worked, and a chance at a run out at the wicketkeeper's end. The overthrow is going to have them try to take a second, and it's another overthrow at that end. It's going to be 3 runs from the ball. Graham barehands the throw from the deep. But the Blazers press the issue. The first attempted run out was a close one. After that, a bit of a comedy of errors. 3 runs come around. Blazers now 95 for 7 and have 12 balls to get 2 runs. It's going to have to be some quick wicket taking from Silicon Valley if they're going to get home today. 95 for 7. East Bay, 2 runs from victory, 2 overs to get it. Saurabh Netravalkar is bowled out 1 for 11. The last 2 of those 3 coming courtesy of a few overthrows that have just about removed all doubt from today's encounter. Ishwarjit Sohi traveled in his first over of work back in the power play for 13. Haven't seen him since. Slightly interested in why the decision not to perhaps lean on a Faisal Khan, who so expertly dismissed the tail yesterday, but it will be Ishwarjit Sohi. That one tapped right back out in front. A dot delivery here. Faisal's bowled just 2 overs so far. 1 for 16 on the day. Certainly if you want experience, you're going to feel better about the 30-year-old from Punjab and the Canada international. That is who Shahan Jayasuriya has turned to, with very little in the way of breathing room remaining. That one is lifted. There's nobody out there, and that is going to fall for a 4. Correction, a 6 to end this in style. Aditya Ganesh puts across the winning runs. East Bay finish 101 for 7, and they win this second game of the season. Both of them against these strikers by 3 wickets with 10 balls remaining. It was a little touch and go there for a while. As we said, the worms had begun to snuggle. In fact, I think if we do take a look at the worms, it's going to demonstrate that what we really saw here was just simply East Bay surviving for longer. Recall that the Silicon Valley Strikers didn't get to finish out their innings. They were gone basically 4 balls ago, if you think about their innings, in 17.4, as they saw their tail disappear very quickly, courtesy of Rushil Ugarkar and Abhishek Paradkar. We're going to get a look at the scorecard in just a moment. But first, enjoy the scenes here as the Blazers Family Festival Day ends in celebration. Aditya Ganesh, 25 off 29. He finishes off as the second leading scorer behind behind Sujith Gowda's 27 off 28. It was tough going batting on this pitch today. Krishnamurthy, 22 off 13 for the young skipper. And Rushil Ugarkar with 3 wickets with the ball in hand and 11 runs off 11 deliveries here on a tough wicket and in difficult conditions towards the end. Throw him in a little bit with an argument for man of the match today. You would have thought had to be Abhishek Paradkar after the first innings, but we'll let the two of them do battle with one another. Either way, they get it done after the 7th wicket fell with the score at 75 for 7. Not so different from what Silicon Valley had done. Ishwarjit Sohi travels today, 19 off of the 8 deliveries he bowled. Faisal Khan not terribly economical as well, but he did get that 1 wicket for 17. Kush Palala, a bit of a match-turning spell, it seemed, in the middle overs. 2 for 19 off of his 3. Suri and Jayasuriya as well in the wickets. And Pranay Suri's economy about as important as Kush Palala's wickets to keeping this match in range for a bit longer than I think we all expected about an hour ago. And so with that, we will take a look at how the second game of the East Bay Blazers season was won. It was not straightforward. It certainly looked that way early as Sujith Gowda targeted Faisal Khan here for a 4 early in the piece. But Faisal will get Saideep Ganesh to loop this one into the hands of Saurabh Netravalkar, ending a brief stay at the crease for the opener. Sanjay Krishnamurthy, well, he was rapid as usual. The captain able to flay that ball away for a 4, and then Sujith Gowda getting in on the party as well against Ishwarjit Sohi. Sohi with just the 1 over bowled early on, and he was victimized here again for 4 runs by Sujith Gowda. Kept rolling at about a run a ball. Krishnamurthy also victimizing Faisal Khan. And as we said, really didn't see much of Faisal or Ishwarjat from this point forward. The 6 initially from Krishnamurthy, then this 4 right past the feet of the man in two-tone blue. The strikers would turn to some spin bowling here, and Kamran Hotak, a little struggle early on here. He would bowl 2 overs that went for 11 runs. But the big thing he would do here is take the wicket of Sanjay Krishnamurthy at the end of his first, looping that into the hands of Ishwarjat Sohi in the circle. 22 off 13 for Sanjay, highest strike rate of the day's action, I believe. Kushpalala would come in and he would give up 10 off his first over. But that was certainly not a sign of things to come. When he came out for his second one, he got Usman Ghani to toe end this one to Pranay Suri. Little back pedal after he had come in to make his ground. It was a short stay on minor league cricket debut for Ghani. Even shorter for Suleiman Adabzai, stumped by Anthony Bramble 2 deliveries later for a duck. And then Gowda would not last much longer. He was at 27 off 27 when Pranay Suri cleaned him up with a bit of turn. Aditya Ganesh got his innings off to a start here. That long ball off Suri, one of the few boundaries conceded by Pranay. Netravalkar would come back in and he would have a over of absolute frustration followed by happy release as he thought he had Aditya Ganesh squared up leg before there. It wound up going as leg buys, maybe going down, maybe rather impacting outside off. This one likely going down leg as Netravalkar again appealed. But 1 ball later, he would get one to climb and take the outside edge off Vikash Mohan for wicket number 6. Jayasuriya came into the attack and with a slip in place, dismissed Abhishek Paradkar for a duck. That would be the last wicket that would fall as the partnership of Ganesh and Ugarkar got them home. Suri's extravagant turn nearly getting the job done, but it was this 6 off the bat of Rushil that really changed things. It had gotten to be 15 needed off of 19 balls. All of a sudden, it was just 9 required off 18. This may be the controversial moment, as with 7 runs still needed, Saurabh Netravalkar, and for that matter, everybody in two-tone blue, thought they had gotten Aditya Ganesh on a mirror image of the ball that dismissed Vikash earlier. Ganesh, however, with this 4, or rather 6, just over the rope, with just 2 runs still required, victimizes Ish Sohi and gets the winning runs. We'll wait to see who officially earns player of the match, but as I said, duke it out between Abhishek Paradkar taking his first career 5-fer with just 14 runs conceded in 3.4 overs, and perhaps Rushil Ugarkar, who's 3 for 13, quite important as well over his 3 overs of work in the first innings, and a very valuable 11 off 11, including a pressure release exhale 6 hit on the final delivery of the 17th. That is all she wrote, though. That's 3 games in the books here in Northern California. East Bay now 2 wins off 2 games. Silicon Valley Strikers 1-2 at the moment. Golden State Grizzlies still looking to get off the schneid. They've played once, that the loss yesterday by 61 runs. We've got a ton of action coming up next weekend down in Van Nuys. 12 matches in the span of 4 days as LA, San Diego, and Seattle will match up with the NorCal sides in every possible combination, and they'll even do one of them twice. And so when we come back to the Bay Area, quite a good chunk of this Western Division season will have played out 6 hours to the south. We look forward to telling you all about it when we're back here for a doubleheader between the Grizzlies and the Blazers, live again here from the Santa Clara Cricket Club. Until then, this is Joe Hickey signing off for Vishal Tiku at the controls and Ranjit, Aditya, and Abhinav on the camera work today for Crick Live. We hope you'll join us again on the MLC Network. So long, folks.